Trese is a Singapore anime like. I'm calling it anime like because it's not on my anime list. It's a Filipino series based on the comic book series with the same name. It's an adaptation. It's a Netflix adaptation by Budget Tan and Kaijo Boldissimo. Okay, forgive me if I said that wrong, but I couldn't find anything on how to actually say it. But that's the best you're gonna get. Produced by Studio Base Entertainment. The series was released on June 10th, 2021 on Netflix. The show at the moment is 1 season long with 6 episodes and no confirmation of a second season. And the way that I see it, I highly doubt that there will be one. I haven't seen anyone really talk about it. I've seen like maybe 2 videos talking about it and they didn't even do that well. Since this is a Filipino show, it might do well there. So I didn't really look. I just typed in Trese in English. Maybe it does well in other places. That won't be spoilers because I'm trying to get you to watch the show or not to. Alexandra Trese is the main character of the show and appears in every episode. She's supposed to be Anton Trese, an old character the creator made. The character was inspired by characters like Batman. You can see that in his stoic attitude and her outfit being black and grey. John Constantine. I guess you could say the spiritual side, because besides the personality, there isn't that much that they have in common. They decided to make a protagonist a woman, diversion from the expected masculine male stereotypes. In earlier creations, the character was named Tony Trese, since the creator wanted a name that sounded male, but he decided Alexander would be the final name. They wanted to create a character with a recognizable and iconic appearance. It was deliberately chosen to have a memorable silhouette. If you don't know, to make a character design really good, having a good silhouette is pretty much vital. The cloak was based on another Filipino writer. He also mentions that the visual inspirations such as Meiji Makoto from Ghost in the Shell and Filipina actress Maja Salvador. I think her design is amazing due to how simple and iconic it is. The black, white and grey could be reminiscent of yin and yang. A common misconception is that yin and yang represent good and evil, which it doesn't. It represents a lot of things, but the thing I think of is asleep and awake, which is represent of the undead and the normal world that we live in. We never really get to see Trese be herself. She only is herself around her father and is very emotionally distant around other people. Again, like Batman, it's fairly obvious she's hiding something, but she doesn't have time because she wants to deal with serious issues. Cripson and Basilio, collectively known as Campbell, literally translating to twins, are demigod twin brothers and are clearly Trese's friend, but professionally she just pretends that they're bodyguards or something like that. They are known to conceal their identities with theater-like masks. The outfit they wear is very distinct and complement Trese's clothes too. The brothers are easy to tell from each other despite being twins. They are pretty much the closest thing Trese has to a friend, and you can see that the way that they talk to each other. Again, Trese is very distant. However, you can tell that she clearly cares for them. I won't go too in depth with the other characters, but they're all interesting in their own way. I think the only character I didn't like was the main villain for season 1. He sort of just shows up and we're meant to care. Without spoiling anything, they tried to make us care, but me personally, I didn't care. They tried to make us care by just having them connected to another character, but it just doesn't work. Our Star Wars is pretty generic and not that distinct, but the aesthetic and overall vibe is very unique. Something I've never really seen, but it could just be because I haven't seen a show based in the Philippines. All the characters and creatures feel unique and made me go down a rabbit hole on what they're based on. I like how you can clearly see that a lot of passion was put into these designs. The pacing is iffy. It always starts with a flashback and goes to the present. This is usually to build context to something important. I know people have a problem with it, but I think they're a good amount of time and don't drag on from too long. This is from someone that hates flashbacks and just filler episodes in general. The world building they're doing needs a lot of context, and since they don't get that much time for it to naturally grow, I think this is alright, but the last episode was very rushed in a way that it didn't seem as well put out as the other ones. It was literally just a bunch of exposition. There isn't much action, but everything is alright. It's not really an action show, but sometimes it wants to show aspects of that and has really gritty and gory moments. This can show the horror aspect of the series, or the fact that they're undead creatures and are pretty brutal, and can give you a reason why Trese acts the way that she does. She can't be merciful when her enemies are so brutal. Trese is a very good show, and it's unique. I think everyone should give it a try since it's extremely short and easy to get into, especially if you're into supernatural series. Learning a new culture is pretty cool as well. There's a lot of things I didn't know before, and if you're from that culture and you see it represented in this, I'm not the judge, because I'm not Filipino, but I think it was pretty well done. The average score I see is like a 7 out of 10, which I think is super fair. I'm gonna do a 2022 tier list video, which is pretty much just putting everything I've watched played into a tier list. But to be honest, it's so ambitious and it's gonna flop. I just know, but I just want to do it because I tried to do it in 2020 and 2021 and I never got to doing it just because of how long it was to make. I think I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to start making it in November, and if I watch or play anything from November to December, it might not be in the video. I might just edit it in if I have something really special to say, and I'm going to try to finish everything on the list because there's a lot of things that aren't finished and are so close to being finished to a point where I think there's just no point of me just leaving it there, of leaving it hanging, just fucking edging the show. Anyways, you'll see where I put it, and I think right now, after it being like 2 weeks after I finished it, I think a 7 or an 8 sounds really good. There isn't much glaring problems, but I wouldn't say that's a masterpiece. But I do think it's worth a watch, just because of how short it is, and we need a season 2.